If you're not living under a rock, you've probably heard about Sinners, a genre-bending horror film that so far has been praised for its stunning imagery, dramatic performances, deep historicity, and breathtaking pacing. Sinners has been so brilliantly received that it left audiences wondering how. The cultural undertones, the vampires, the music, the cinematic visual language. Where did all this come from? Well, we know a little bit about that because many of the themes explored by Coogler have their deep roots in West African folklore. From the twin characters played by Michael B. Jordan that the film's spine is built on, to the spiritual practices of Annie, one of the film's protagonists. In this video, we will be breaking down exactly how Nigerian history and tradition influenced one of the biggest original cinematic portrayals of the 21st century. Welcome to another episode of Odd Nigeria. Sinners came from the beautiful mind of Ryan Coogler, an African-American filmmaker. Coogler wrote the film fundamentally as an ode to his uncle James, who died in 2015. Uncle James, as he remembers him, was a man with a curious, peculiar history. He was a World War II veteran who grew up working at steel mills and basically had every crazy experience you could think of. See, James grew up in Mississippi, and he told Coogler stories of his childhood and past while downing a bottle of whiskey and listening to the Delta Blues on vinyl. When his uncle was diagnosed with terminal cancer and struggled with his health, unfortunately, Coogler was on the other side of America making Creed. Which is why when his uncle died in 2015, Coogler started listening to the blues to remember him and grieve. Listening to the music he would once hear his uncle play helped him grieve his death and cope with the loss. But it also got him thinking about the depths of loss, death, grief, and especially among black artists, musicians and rappers, and people whose entire careers were defined by the struggle of coming out of the stories that defined their lives. And that was how Sinners was born. But now that we know what inspired this crazy story and the score composed by Ludwig Göransson, Preacher Boy's arc, and the deeply rich musical undercurrents of the film, what else do we not know about this picture? But first, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more videos like this. Smoke and Stack were based on two distinct concepts, one transcontinental and the other deeply rooted in West African folklore and history. First, the concept of twin gangsters is one that has pervaded most of modern history. It feels like every neighborhood, street, gang, or organized criminal enterprise of any sort had at least one twin figure. Coogler himself wanted to explore the concept of monozygotic twins who always find themselves in the middle of troublesome situations but stick together through it all. But you see, that was not the only influence. According to Coogler himself, the idea of twins also stems from Yoruba culture. In the Yoruba religious practices of West Africa, there is a twin spirit god known as Ibeji. In the Yoruba culture, twins are considered sacred and believed to possess spiritual powers and bring good fortune, which is why it is a curious fact that Yorubas have the highest number of indexed twins in living record in any era of modern history. According to some studies even, people of Yoruba heritage are more than 4 times likelier to birth twins than Caucasians. In fact, a town in Oyo State, Nigeria is widely known as the twin capital of the world due to its exceptionally high birth rate of twins. The town has a birth rate of approximately 50 twins per every 1,000 live births, compared to the global average of about 12 per 1,000 births. Another creative decision inspired by Yoruba culture in the film is the concept of the griot. Preacher Boy, played by Miles Carton, was a griot-like character whose singing and musical abilities could summon the spirits of ancient cultures. The griot, or its equivalent, is also a spiritualistic element of many cultures around Africa. But there's more. Hoodoo, which Annie practices as a spiritual fortifier and medication, is an ethno-religion of black people across North America today, but its roots are seeped in African tradition. For instance, some linguists believe that the word hoodoo originated as an alternate of the word voodoo, which had African origin in several religions across several languages in the West African area. But the word also comes from hoodoo, which means spirit walk in the Ewe language spoken in Western Africa countries like Togo, Ghana, and Benin. During the first century of slave trade, around 55% of enslaved people came from the Central African countries that existed within the boundaries of modern-day Cameroon, the Congo, Angola, Central African Republic, and Gabon. It also has West African influences like Vodun, which was practiced by the Fon and Iwi people in Benin and Congo, with some elements derived from the religious practices of the Yorubas in modern-day Nigeria. For example, the crossroads spirit in Hoodoo may have its origin in the Yoruba people's crossroads spirit, Esho Elegba. Wunmi Mosaku, who plays Annie in the film, is also of Yoruba heritage, and she talks about how her character's role as a divination priestess was derived from Ifa, a Yoruba divination system originating in Western Africa. When it came to root work and healing, we often see Annie practicing that in the film too, and African Americans mix their knowledge of herbs from Africa with European and regional Native American herbal knowledge. However, the spiritual use of herbs and the practice of hoodoo for conjuring remained African in origin, as enslaved African Americans incorporated African religious rituals into the preparation of North American herbs and roots. So there you have it. Have you seen Sinners yet, and what did you think about it? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Up Nigeria to see more videos like this. Thank you. See you next time.